know that because we had talked about that before, you know? Yeah. And it wasn't said like that. So I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'm lost.
Have you ever witnessed the courtroom drama so explosive it felt like the entire room might come apart? That's exactly what happened when Stormi's DNA evidence was dropped. It obliterated Marsau's defense, and Latisha couldn't handle the heat. Brace yourself. This is the story of a showdown years in the making. It started with tension lingering in the air. As soon as Stormi's paternity was called into question, everyone watched, wondering how she would prove it.
Something that was said on camera that made you feel that way?
Was it? No, not on camera, not with the show, no. More so in interviews, like interviews.
My interview?
I can't remember if it was your interview, but it was other interviews for sure.
Marsau, confident and unyielding, had stood by his claims, challenging Stormi's honesty and even questioning her motives. But on the stand, with legal precision and mounting anticipation, Stormi's attorney presented the final nail, a sealed DNA report. The room snapped to attention. A hush fell while the court clerk unsealed the envelope, every eye locked on Stormi's document. And then, the readings began one by one, clear, irrefutable genetic markers that matched Stormi and her alleged father and didn't match Marsau. Gasps echoed. Marsau's jaw tightened. He shifted in his seat as the level of certainty rose with every percentage point read aloud. 99.9999% probability. The conclusion? Without a doubt, he could not be the father. At that moment, the case pivoted on its axis. Everyone knew that DNA evidence is the most conclusive proof there is. The judge paused, letting the weight sink in. Latisha's face drained of color. She tried to maintain composure, but the emotional impact was undeniable. As the verdict loomed, she made her move. The defense motioned for a recess. The tension was choking. As the judge granted it, Latisha was already on her feet. She slammed her papers down, marched out of the courtroom with purposeful strides, her expression a mixture of disbelief, fury, and heartbreak. The echo of her footsteps resonated as the doors swung shut behind her. Silence followed, broken only by the judge's gavel calling the court back to order. Inside, Stormi stood firm. Her eyes glistened, not with tears, but with relief and vindication. Marsau, meanwhile, sat frozen, staring ahead, grappling with the evidence that dismantled years of his assertions. His defense crumbled under scientific certainty, and the courtroom collectively exhaled.
It's been a tough year. Not for me, but for the people that are around me. And so I just want to say that God is a good God. God is a good God, and He's.
Let's unpack everything that led to this seismic moment and why this DNA proof means so much. In custody cases and paternity disputes, DNA isn't just a test, it's the gold standard. For Stormi, this was about more than proving paternity. It was about truth, identity, and reclaiming her narrative. Marsau's challenge wasn't just a legal tactic, it questioned her character and stability. When Stormi's team announced they'd deliver DNA results, they weren't just flexing, they were preparing for the decisive moment that would determine everything. Stormi's journey has been a roller coaster, emotionally, socially, securing a protected sample, and working with top forensic experts. Every preparation step was on camera, every setback captured. The stage was set. No one would accuse her of playing dirty. When she got the results, she knew she held the strongest weapon possible. On the day of the hearing, Stormi's DNA specialist took the stand. She explained the process in meticulous detail, how samples are collected, chain of custody protocols, contamination prevention, and the statistical models that produce the match probability. Her credentials were bulletproof. PhD from a top university, decades of courtroom experience. Every technical term was carefully explained, ensuring that jurors, the judge, and every observer grasped the implications. This result isn't guesswork, it's scientific certainty. When the DNA results were finally opened, the tension was indescribable. You could hear breaths held across the courtroom. As percentages were read, 99.9999% match, excluded. Each word landed like a punch. Marsau's expression flickered. He tried to maintain composure, but his face betrayed his concern. The evidence was clear. No wiggle room. The final word in paternity science. For Latisha, Stormi's mother and fiercest supporter, the moment was overwhelming. She'd invested everything, time, hope, energy, into fighting for her daughter's identity and well-being. Hearing that DNA not only affirmed Stormi, but legally excluded Marsau was powerful and crushing. When she stormed out, she wasn't fleeing, she was reacting to the weight of victory and relief. Mixed with the devastation of its consequences, it was raw, human, completely understandable. Marsau had built his defense on insinuations, on challenging Stormi's credibility, on rhetorical skill. But rhetoric falls flat under scientific facts. As the reality sank in, his posture slumped. His argument evaporated. In just a few minutes, the narrative shifted from "is he" or "isn't he" to "he absolutely isn't." And Marsau had nowhere left to stand. This showdown illustrates a powerful lesson. In legal battles, especially involving identity and family, science holds the ultimate authority. You can spin stories, weaponize public opinion, or lean on charisma. But when genetic data is on the table, everything else fades. Stormi's successful approach, preparing robustly, working with experts, controlling narrative, becomes a blueprint for others in similar shoes. With DNA evidence ruling decisively, the legal standing shifts entirely. Custody agreements must realign. Financial responsibilities get reassessed. Emotional healing has a green light. More than that, the public narrative flips. Now I want to hear from you. What's your take on this explosive DNA reveal? Were you surprised by how fast the court responded? Have you seen similar courtroom moments where science delivered justice? Drop your thoughts below, especially if you or someone you know has gone through something like this. And if real stories of battle, resilience, and triumph speak to you, then don't miss our next video. We dive deep into another unforgettable moment of truth, when a whistleblower's file blew the lid off corruption in a major corporation. It's raw, it's powerful, and it's just as unforgettable. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us for more courtroom confrontations, life-changing revelations, and stories that remind us the truth matters and it's worth fighting for.